They say some countries don't merely invite you in. They awaken something already waiting inside you. In Korea, the beauty lies not only in what you see, but in how it feels. Beneath temple eaves and mountain fog, between ancient palaces and neon-lit nights, Korea doesn't perform for your attention. It walks beside you, quiet, layered, and enduring. Not flashy, not rushed, just composed, enough to let you pause. Whether you're standing at dawn beside the stone walls of Gyeongju, or hearing the wind ripple through bamboo groves in Damyang, Korea doesn't beg to be noticed. It waits to be experienced. In Andong, the village rooftops echo with Confucian echoes. Paths curve along forested hillsides, and masks hang like memories from the rafters of Haho. The Nakdong River bends slow through fields where nothing hurries, not even time. You move carefully here, not because it's fragile, but because it feels sacred. Farther south, Suncheon wraps you in reeds and reflection. Cranes rise from the wetlands like brushstrokes lifting off parchment. The silence isn't empty, it's alive. Every boardwalk leads not just through landscape, but into quiet wonder. The garden, the bay, the breeze, they speak in soft chords. Up in Pyeongchang, snow smooths the ridgelines and the temples hush beneath heavy pine. A monk's bell echoes through white silence. You feel the stillness in your ribs. Whether you're walking across a frozen field or sipping hot broth by a mountain inn, the cold clarifies, not just the air, but your thoughts. On Jeju Island, black rock and bright tangerines share the same soil. The Orium rise like echoes of past breath. Haenyeo dive without spectacle, surfacing with harvests and history. The sea speaks here, not loudly but endlessly. You do not conquer Jeju, you accompany it. In Suwon, fortress stones tell of defense, but also of preservation. The ramparts loop gently around the city's pulse. Children play beneath ancient gates. Lanterns glow without announcement. You walk not to reach something, but because the path itself feels like part of the story. And in Seoul, the heart beats loud and low at once. Gyeongju stands stoic as traffic rolls by. Cafes hide beneath rooftops, their doors opening to jazz and poetry. Rivers run through glass towers. The old doesn't vanish, it flows beneath the new. Each of these places doesn't ask for more than your attention. They open when you open. They reveal when you're ready to see. In Korea, beauty isn't handed to you. It's earned with time, with stillness, with presence. A country not of contradictions, but of continuities, where silence holds memory, where nature and city don't compete, they converse, where moments aren't measured in photos, but in breaths held, eyes softened, heart steady. These are the places that linger, long after your steps have faded, where peace is not absence, but essence, where wonder isn't loud, it's felt, where travel becomes something more than movement, it becomes belonging. And once you feel it, you never really leave. Not Korea, not what it gives you, not who it quietly invites you to become. Held in the arms of mountains brushed with snow and wind, there exists a place where time takes on the rhythm of falling flakes and quiet forest breaths. Pyeongchang doesn't call out. It stands gently beneath the sky, its beauty found in every ridge, every pine, every stillness between footsteps. Pyeongchang is one such place. Not extravagant, not hurried, just patient, like the hush of morning before the world wakes. Here the hills roll softly beneath layers of mist. Trails wind through woods where trees stretch tall and unspoken. Whether you're walking through a pine-scented valley or gazing out from a snowy peak, you feel the calm settle into your chest like warmth on a winter's breath. Pyeongchang doesn't unfold all at once. It reveals itself with grace. In the quiet charm of mountain lodges, in the steamy windows of tucked-away cafes, in the way locals greet you not with urgency, but with warmth. Whether you're skiing down the powdery slopes of Yongpyong, strolling beside a frozen stream, or sipping hot soup after a cold walk, each moment carries weight without pressure. Seasons define this land, and each one leaves its signature gently but fully. In winter, snow cloaks the trees like a lullaby. Spring comes with wildflowers blooming in waves of pink and gold. Autumn paints the hills with fire, and summer sends rivers rushing clear through shaded valleys. Through it all, the mountains remain, anchoring time, offering stillness. Above, the sky drapes low with drifting clouds. Below, the wind traces patterns in untouched snow. You might pass a single skier carving lines into the powder, a monk sweeping temple steps, or a deer stepping quietly from the trees. In Pyeongchang, solitude isn't absence, it's presence in its purest form. Pyeongchang does not dazzle. It grounds, a place where cold sharpens clarity, where trails lead not just across distance, but into stillness, where the hush of the forest teaches you how to listen again. So follow the curve of a snowy path, sit on a bench and watch the mountains breathe. Let the cold kiss your cheeks, and the silence wrap around you like a woolen scarf. This is Pyeongchang, not a spectacle, a sanctuary, not just a getaway, but a return to what matters, where nature whispers, not shouts, and every snowflake feels like a gift that asks only for your stillness. And when evening settles and the peaks fade into shadow, when the stars blink softly through the night frost, you'll understand. The beauty here doesn't ask for your attention. It waits for your presence. Tucked between mountain ridges and morning haze, where traditional markets hum beside quiet temples, lies a city that doesn't chase attention. It cultivates depth. Daegu wears its identity not like a badge, but like a second skin. Familiar, unforced, and quietly confident. Here, nothing demands. Everything invites. Daegu is one such place. Daegu doesn't put on a show. It carries its story in texture. In the curve of old hanok rooftops, in the shadow of skyscrapers, in the smell of roasted barley wafting from tea houses, in the reverent hush of Dongwasa Temple, nestled in the forested flanks of Palgong Mountain. You aren't here to be entertained. You're here to be welcomed, not by ceremony, but by presence. Above, the sky often rests in soft hues, rose at dawn, indigo by night. Below, cherry blossoms fall like snow each spring in eWorld Park, and in summer, the cicadas sing with wild insistence in the wooded hills of Apsan. Between all that light and sound, however, is a current of calm, a reminder that being full of life doesn't mean being loud. Daegu is more than a city. It's a resting point, a space between fast and slow, a quiet nod to what endures. Where the skyline doesn't just climb, it remembers what came before. Where the food isn't just served, it's passed down. Where every park, every plaza, every path offers a pause rather than a push. Daegu does not perform. It grounds. A place where the present holds hands with the past. A destination not for noise, but for nuance. A city that doesn't just show you itself, it mirrors something in you. And then, night. The lanterns along the river flicker. Cafe lights dim. Somewhere someone hums an old song. And the city breathes, steady, full, alive. And something stays. A rhythm beneath conversation, a pause between footsteps, a warmth that doesn't cool when you leave. This is Daegu, not just a stop on the map, a dialogue, where stillness speaks, where tradition isn't staged, it lives, and where everything important whispers, just loud enough for the heart to hear. Wrapped in the warmth of foothills and carried on the breath of resilience, there stands a city not defined by its skyline, but by its spirit. Gyeongju doesn't whisper of the past. It speaks, steady and clear, through every mural, market, and moment of gathered silence. This is not a city that hides its history. It honors it, with grace, with grit, and with quiet determination. Gyeongju is one such place. Not polished, not staged, just grounded, like roots that have held through storm and sun. Whether you're walking under the shade of meta-sequoia trees in Sajik Park, or pausing beside the old halls of Yangnam-dong where time softens, Gyeongju moves with an unspoken strength. It doesn't demand reverence. It earns it. Gyeongju doesn't pull you in with spectacle. It walks beside you, with stories held in brushstrokes and footsteps. In the 5.18 Memorial Park, the air holds the weight of memory without bitterness. It offers space, reflection, dignity. Around every corner, a mural, a statue, a flower laid by hand. Here, art isn't embellishment. It's expression born of need. This city is not loud, but it is alive. In the halls of the Asian Culture Center, innovation hums through galleries and stages. In Yangdong Market, the sizzle of John and the scent of sesame oil greet you like a familiar embrace. And in Gyeongju's back streets, cafes spill out onto the pavement, filled with quiet conversation and the soft scratch of pens on notebooks. Above, the sky glows peach and silver before evening. Below, the streets breathe with rhythm. Students heading home, elders sitting in shaded squares, the city never hurried but always in motion. Light pools in windows and lanterns flicker to life. It's not about what you do here, it's about what you notice. You pause beneath a ginkgo tree in Cheonam University. The leaves drift around you like soft punctuation. Nothing is expected of you in that moment. except stillness. Gyeongju offers these moments without asking, pauses that feel like punctuation in your own story. Gyeongju does not perform. It endures. A city that carries truth in its bones, where remembrance is an act of resilience, where beauty is not imposed. It's grown through time, through art, through people. This is Gyeongju, not just a place marked by history, a place shaped by it, where grief has become grace, where creativity rises from memory, where every corner offers not just perspective, but presence. Crowned by ancient stone walls and cradled by the soft rhythm of everyday life, Suwon doesn't rise to impress. It stands to remind. Here, the past doesn't linger in museums. It walks beside you, echoing in footsteps along fortress paths, in market banter, in the rustle of hanbok sleeves beneath morning light. Suwon is one such place. Not frantic, not frozen, just balanced, like the quiet elegance of calligraphy brushed across time. Within the embrace of Hwaseong Fortress, memory is etched into every brick and gate. In Paldalman Market, aromas of street food curl through the air like invitations to pause. Whether you're watching the city unfold from a turret or sharing dumplings at a hidden stall, Suwon offers something few places do: presence wrapped in humility. Dawn touches this city with gentleness. The outer walls catch the first blush of light. Joggers trace ancient ramparts while shopkeepers begin to stir. In neighborhoods just beyond the walls, life begins not with noise, but with rhythm, a daily pattern rooted in both past and pulse. The city doesn't chase sunrise, it walks with it. Beyond the sweep of fast-moving cities and into the curve of quiet rivers and tile-roofed hanok, there lies a place where time does not rush, but bows. Andong is not dressed in spectacle. It wears its heritage like a well-worn robe, soft with age, deep with meaning. Here, stories are not told. They're lived in the grain of wood, the flicker of candlelight, the silence after a bow. Andong is one such place. Not flashy, not frozen, just old enough, still enough to remind you how deeply a culture can root itself in the land. The air carries the quiet weight of reverence, whispers of scholars, echoes of Confucian rituals, and the hush of rice paper doors gently closing behind a passing breeze. Whether you're walking the narrow paths of Heiho Folk Village, watching the masks dance beneath century-old eaves, or simply gazing out across the Nakdong River at dusk, every step feels part of a longer memory. Tucked into the northeastern folds of Korea, where granite peaks cut into drifting mists and ancient pines whisper over time-worn trails, Seoraksan rises, not in proclamation, but in quiet strength. Here the wild is not untamed, but revered. Every ridge a line of poetry, every stream a thread of clarity winding through the stone. Seoraksan is one such place. The park doesn't clamor for your attention. It offers space. The serenity of the woods, the strength of the peaks, and the rhythm of the waterfalls all weave together to pull you inward. Whether you're ascending Ulsanbawi's famous steps or wandering beside the gentle flow of the Biryong Falls, you find that the journey becomes more than scenery. It becomes stillness in motion. Seoraksan's landscape is an intricate blend of wildness and sacredness. Massive cliffs tower over fern-filled gorges, while ancient temples rest quietly beneath towering pines. The mountain doesn't divide, it embraces. Each valley cradles its own world, and each corner, whether dramatic or delicate, tells a different story in stone, air, and light. Seoraksan is more than a national park. It is a sanctuary. Whether you are tracing its trails, meditating in the shadow of its statues, or simply letting the mountain air fill your lungs, this landscape opens something within you. It invites not just admiration, but restoration. Where the cliffs don't just rise, they steady you. Where the forests don't just rustle, they teach you to breathe. And all you have to do is stop, listen, and let the mountains speak in silence. Stand at the edge of the ridge, feel the wind carve past your face, hear the hush of pine needles beneath your boots, and let Seoraksan enter your memory like a song with no end. Seoraksan doesn't just stand, it watches, it holds, a place where sacred meets wild, a destination for pilgrims of peace, seekers of stillness, and lovers of the land. A mountain where time doesn't disappear, it deepens. And then, night. The stars emerge, scattered above like prayers cast to the sky. The air cools, the forest sleeps, the peaks remain, unchanged, unwavering. And something stays, a quiet understanding, a breath slowed by awe, a heart grounded by granite and sky. This is Seoraksan. Not just a park, a presence, a place where stillness walks with you, where silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of meaning. Steadfast, gentle, ancient, like the mountain itself, rooted, watching, alive. Where ocean murmurs meet the steady rhythm of city life, and temple roofs curve toward the sea breeze, Busan stretches, not for grandeur, but for balance. This is not a place that dazzles all at once. It opens slowly, like tide and tea, like the unfolding of a quiet morning. Busan is one such place, not polished, not concealed, just vast enough to hold the hush of a mountainside shrine and the song of a night market stall. Streets climb through hillside neighborhoods like ribbons of memory. Lanterns swing above stone steps, and the scent of salt lives in every corner. At first light, the shoreline breathes softly. Haeundae is still, its sands untouched, the air tinged with brine and cloud. Waves reach for the rocks, then fall back in reverence. Fishermen cast quietly from the jetties. Joggers move with the ocean. You watch, you wait, you begin to belong. Up on the cliffs, Haedong Yeonggungsa gazes out to sea, its prayer wheels catching wind, its chants dissolving into the surf. You remove your shoes and your hurry. The sea does not rush, neither does the spirit here. In the heart of the city, Jagalchi Market buzzes, not with chaos but cadence. Silver fish shimmer under morning light. Elder women call out prices with laughter behind their voices. You try not to photograph everything, you try instead to be present. The city appreciates that. Busan doesn't follow one rhythm. It offers many. You take the metro from bustling Seomyeon to the hush of Beomyosa Temple, where golden Buddhas sit unmoved in their centuries of watching. You walk through alleys painted with stories in Gamcheon Culture Village. Colors, yes, but also quiet pride. Time here bends, not breaks. Afternoons slow on the forest paths of Igadai. The sea below is constant, the sky above open. Between them, the trail curves, always slightly higher, always revealing more. You don't race it, you follow. Above, gulls trace arcs over the coast. Below, trains thread their way along seaside tracks. Between them, the city hums, not loud, but alive. There is always a place to pause, a tea house in the hills, a bench at a harbor, a temple bell waiting to be heard. The lights begin to blink on. Gwangali Bridge glows in soft blues and golds. Restaurants warm with clinking bowls and conversations in low tones. Steam rises from grilled fish and street tteokbokki. The ocean reflects the skyline like a held breath. And you understand, Busan is not here to astonish. It's here to stay with you, to rise like a tide beneath memory. Not a spectacle, but a soul. This is Busan. Not just a port, a presence. A coastline that speaks in calm waves. A mountain that listens. A city that doesn't demand attention, but earns it. Watch how the skyline and shoreline coexist. Watch how the bustle softens as night falls. Watch how the silence here isn't empty, it's held. Busan does not ask you to choose between quiet and color. It offers both. A place where the sea touches every thought, where prayer and movement share the same street, where the softest parts linger longest. And then, night. The harbor rests. The moon folds over the waves. The temple bells grow quiet. And the city does what it always does. It stays. Drawn between sea breezes and reed-filled wetlands, there lies a place where the land breathes gently with the rhythm of water and light. Suncheon doesn't chase recognition. It lives quietly, in harmony with the marshes, the mountains, and the morning mist that rolls in like a lullaby. It doesn't need grandeur to be memorable. It just needs you to notice. Suncheon is one such place. Not boastful, not hurried, just whole, like the curve of a tidal stream meeting the reeds. In its gardens, the seasons bloom in slow succession. In its bay, the wetlands stretch wide, alive with birdsong and the whisper of tall grasses. Whether you're walking wooden footpaths above the shimmering tide or following stone walls around a Hanok village, the calm in Suncheon reaches deeper than silence. Suncheon doesn't unfold in spectacle. It reveals itself through still rhythms. In the Suncheon Bay Wetland Reserve, time stretches as long as the horizon. Cranes pick their way through shallow water. The path bends, not to guide you, but to invite you to linger. And in the Suncheon open film set, echoes of another era drift between rooftops, stories held in every wooden beam. Above, clouds drift like brush strokes across a pale sky. Below, the land mirrors the calm, holding reflections of egrets, bridges, and soft sunlight. The water doesn't rush, it waits. The breeze carries no urgency, only the hush of life that's grown used to moving at its own pace. Suncheon doesn't demand applause. It restores. A place where the wild is not far away but woven in, where every step feels softened by intention, where the land itself seems to exhale in your presence. So walk slowly through the garden paths. Pause where the boardwalk meets the bay. Let the wind carry the scent of pine and salt, and let your mind fall quiet in response. This is Suncheon, Not a performance, a presence, not a detour, a return, where light, water, and earth meet in balance, and where beauty is not built, but allowed. And when the evening light melts into the fields, and the herons settle in the reeds, you'll understand. Peace here isn't a moment, it's a rhythm. Folded between mountains and the Han River's graceful bend, there rises a city that pulses not just with motion, but with memory. Seoul does not whisper, yet it does not shout either. It thrums, a harmony of old stone and electric light, where palaces sleep in the shadows of glass towers, and alleys hum with the warmth of stories too deep to fade. Seoul is one such place. Not still, not overwhelming, just layered, like brush strokes on a centuries-old scroll. In Bukchon, the hanoks line the hills with quiet dignity. In Hongdae, music spills from street corners like laughter echoing through time. Whether you find yourself under the crimson lanterns of Gyeongju Market or tracing your steps along the Cheongyecheon stream, the city unfolds like a living canvas, part rhythm, part remembrance. This isn't a place that asks to be understood all at once. Seoul is revealed in layers. One moment you're beneath the quiet pine trees of Samcheong-dong, the next beneath neon skies in Gangnam. The city doesn't give itself away easily, but rewards those who linger. Whether you're walking along the fortress walls of Namsan at dusk or sharing hot soup in a market stall at midnight, Seoul offers something constant: presence. The cityscape moves in symphony. Bridges stretch across the river like extended hands. Towers gleam as reflections in water, while lanterns sway softly in temple courtyards. Above, clouds curl through mountain ridges. Below, trains glide quietly underground, carrying the rhythm of millions without pause or complaint. Seoul does not rest in the past. It honors it, a place where incense smoke rises beside LED signs, where royal gates open toward modern boulevards, where every street bears a story, spoken, sung, or written in silence. So walk without destination. Stand beneath the eaves of Gyeongbogung as the guard changes. Let the city teach you that progress and peace are not opposites, but partners. And when night falls and the city glows from mountaintop to riverbank, when hanok rooftops catch starlight just beyond the skyline, you'll realize Seoul doesn't just live, it remembers. This is Seoul, brilliant, layered, endlessly unfolding. A city that doesn't ask for your attention, only your time. And if you give it that, it will give you the world. Cradled between winding rivers and the quiet rise of wooded hills, Daejeon unfolds not with drama, but with balance. It's a city that doesn't rush to impress, but offers space to think, to learn, and to breathe. Here, innovation meets reflection, not in conflict, but in calm conversation. Daejeon is one such place. Not flashy, not lost in tradition, just centered, like the still surface of a pond between ripples of thought. Whether you're walking beneath the cherry blossoms of Daecheung Lake or sitting on the stone steps of Uam Historical Park, the city meets you with a kind of thoughtful ease. It moves not with urgency, but with quiet purpose. Daejeon doesn't overwhelm, it offers. In the quiet corners of its research centers and museums, in the hush of Expo Science Park at dusk, it gives space for curiosity to settle and ideas to grow. In hot springs tucked into quiet neighborhoods, and in slow markets where old women wrap herbs in paper, the city blends progress and presence without contradiction. Swept by sea winds and crowned with ancient volcanic peaks, there is an island that doesn't rise with drama, but unfolds with wonder. Jeju does not ask to be admired. It invites you to listen, to breathe, and to walk slowly through the spaces where sky, stone, and sea hold quiet conversation. Jeju is one such place. Not carved in haste, not dulled by time, just present, like a deep breath held between tide and silence. The Orium hills ripple across the land like forgotten waves. Stone walls run low between tangerine trees and mossy paths. Whether you're standing in the shadow of Halasan or tracing your fingers across the carvings of a doll harubang, you begin to understand. Jeju speaks not with volume, but with depth. Jeju doesn't demand to be seen. It lets itself be found. In the winding forest trails of Bijarim, the wind moves like a song remembered. Along the cliffs of Jusangjeoli, the sea pounds against hexagonal basalt, as if shaping the island still. And in caves beneath the ground, like Manjangul, you realize how much beauty lives in silence. The landscape holds layers, lava plains and misty mountains, dry stone and blooming canola. Fields stretch in every direction, marked by wind and memory. The Haenyeo, Jeju's legendary women divers, carry that memory still, emerging from the sea not only with shells, but with stories. Above, clouds drift like silk across the dormant crown of Halasan. Below, the sea shimmers between rocky coastlines and black sand shores. Jeju doesn't need to shine. It glows in the hush of its forests, in the texture of its stones, in the rhythm of its wind. This is not an island built for spectacle. It is a sanctuary for stillness, for resilience, for the kind of beauty that doesn't fade, but deepens. Jeju does not perform. It breathes, a place where the mountain waits without urgency, where the wind remembers before you do, where the sea speaks in waves too steady to ignore. So walk its coastlines barefoot. Let the wind comb through your thoughts. Let the wildflowers show you how to be rooted and free all at once. Let Jeju remind you what it means to be quietly alive. This is Jeju, not a postcard, a presence, not just a destination, a return, where every path feels like a beginning, where the silence holds more than words ever could. And when the sun dips low behind the cliffs and the lanterns begin to glow in the warm dusk air, you'll know something has shifted, not just around you, but within you. Tucked beneath a canopy of whispering trees and cradled by the gentle bend of a river, there lies a place that doesn't race to meet you, but waits, patient and quiet, until you're ready to slow down. Nami Island doesn't call for attention. It simply opens itself, like pages of a poem you didn't know you needed to read. Nami is one such place. Not bustling, not showy, just tender, like footsteps on fallen leaves. A tree-lined path stretching into soft morning light, rows of meta-sequoias that stand like guardians of time. Whether you wander beneath golden ginkgo or cherry blossoms in spring's first blush, the island speaks gently, as though each breath of wind is a memory returning home. Nami doesn't rush your discovery. It unravels itself in fragments. A sculpture half lost in ivy, a bicycle leaning against a cedar trunk, a child's laughter in the distance. Every corner of the island is touched by thoughtfulness. Whether you're sipping warm tea in a tucked-away cafe or tracing footsteps along the shoreline, there is a rhythm here that softens the edges of time. Above, the branches sway in quiet conversation with the breeze. Below, the ground is dappled with light and memory. You pass lovers carving initials into bark, artists sketching quietly on wooden porches, and families lost in shared silence. There is no performance here, only presence. Nami does not entertain, it embraces, a place where footsteps feel sacred, where the wind writes its own poetry through the trees, where you are reminded that peace doesn't have to be earned, only noticed. So ride a bike down the silent avenue. Sit by the river and watch the water forget the shore. Let the sky overhead open just enough to let the light find your face. This is Nami, not a detour, a doorway, not just an escape, but a gentle return, where the world quiets just enough for you to hear your own heart again. Beneath a sky laced with departing flights and sea salt air, there unfolds a city not bound by one story, but many, woven from arrivals and departures, trade winds and tides. Incheon does not seek the spotlight. It stands as a threshold, between sea and land, old and new, memory and movement. Incheon is one such place. Not theatrical, not forgotten, just layered, like driftwood on a quiet shore. Whether you're standing at the edge of Songdo's mirrored skyline or wandering through the hushed alleyways of Chinatown where red lanterns sway with history, the city speaks in tones both bold and barely audible. It does not insist. It offers. This isn't a place you consume. It's a place you observe. The waves around Wolmedo Island curl toward shore in quiet rhythm, a Ferris wheel turning in the distance like a memory on repeat. In the open courtyards of old markets, steam from dumplings coils into the morning light. Somewhere, a woman adjusts a photograph in a decades-old storefront window. Life here doesn't perform. It continues. The sea isn't a boundary, it's a dialogue. Incheon listens. At low tide, the mud flats stretch endlessly, reflecting sky and silence. In the distance, birds trace low arcs across the horizon. This is not stillness born of emptiness, it is presence in its purest form. Walk along the coastal paths, and you'll feel it. The past beneath your feet, the future in the air, and a present moment that holds space for both. Beneath hills that carry the weight of centuries and skies that shift with the softness of silk, there's a city where time does not vanish. It rests. Gyeongju doesn't try to capture the future. It listens to the past. And in that listening, it becomes something rare. A place where memory isn't displayed, it's embedded in the land. Gyeongju is one such place. Gyeongju doesn't ask to be toured. It asks to be walked with. The hanok roofs curve gently into the sky. Small shops offer tea that tastes of earth and time. The slow rhythm of bicycles on quiet lanes becomes your own rhythm. And as you wander between Shilla ruins, you feel less like a visitor and more like someone remembering something you've never been told. This isn't a backdrop. It's a living stillness. The land carries tombs, yes, but not like burdens, like stories. The golden crowns that once adorned Shilla royalty are now in glass cases, but outside, the grass-covered tumuli still breathe with the hush of ancestral presence. The city is a museum, but it isn't trapped. It moves in its own quiet tempo. Above, the sky stretches wide with reverence. At dusk, the lanterns glow along the river. Fireflies hover in the reeds like blessings. Between temples and trees, time flows. Not forward or backward, but inward. You sit on the stone steps of a pavilion. The air smells faintly of pine and history. A family speaks in hushed tones behind you. Somewhere, a flute plays. Not for show, but because the moment asked for music. Gyeongju is full of these moments, not orchestrated, but allowed.